Wow. Is if I bring over 100 heifers or I bring Senator Sanders.
And sure enough, Senator Sanders has come to each parade except when he's running for president. Do I need to say anything more? Without much ado, it is my greatest pleasure to introduce and welcome our Vermont-grown Senator Bernard Sanders.
Thank you. Oh. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It is great to be back in Brattleboro. And thank you all very much for what you do as one of the most progressive communities, not only in our state, but in the United States of America. Thank you. And the story that Orly told is true, but there's another story that she didn't tell. Things like Strolling of the Heifers and Windham Grows do not happen by accident. They happen because Orly is a very, very aggressive person. You all know that, right? She may be short, but she is tough and aggressive. And speaking to Orly's aggressiveness, a number of years ago, this is the story she did not tell. We were up north in Essex Junction, and Willie Nelson was holding a concert. Remember that, Orly? And Willie was kind enough, he's an old friend, to invite me in his famed bus, which has unusual odors. And Orly did everything she could to break through security, to break down doors to get into that bus. I don't think you did get in, did you? But she, that's Orly. And I want to say, while I'm here, I want to say a few words, obviously, about Windham Grows, but I would like to say a few words about one or two other things that are happening in our country today. And despite the wishes of the people of Brattleboro, Windham County, and despite the wishes of the people of the state of Vermont, we have a president that most of us did not support. And there is bad news and there is some good news. The bad news is that this president is moving us in exactly the wrong direction in every major issue facing our country. At a time of massive income and wealth inequality, he is proposing incredibly large, hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars in tax breaks for the top 1% and the top 2%. So instead of addressing the crisis of income and wealth inequality, where the very, very rich are getting much richer, 43 million people living in poverty, middle class is shrinking, he is going to exacerbate that problem by giving incredible tax breaks to billionaires like himself. In terms of health care, all of you know, because we have had meetings right here in Brattleboro time after time, and I know you know this. Embarrassingly, the United States today remains the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people. And I know you share with me the vision that the day will come when we're going to end that embarrassment and pass a Medicare for all single-payer system. Despite the gains of the Affordable Care Act, in which 20 million more Americans got health insurance, the United States today has 28 million people with zero health insurance, and even more, including many in this room, who are underinsured with high deductibles, high copayments. And then on top of that, because of the incredible greed of the pharmaceutical industry, we are paying by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. So the goal of a sensible administration and a country moving in the right direction is to say, okay, the Affordable Care Act did some good things. It has a lot of problems. Let's improve it. How do we provide health care to all people? How do we do it in a cost-effective way? Because right now we're spending 2-3 times per person what healthcare systems around the world are doing that provide healthcare to all of their people. But as some of you know, and I know most of you know, Republican leadership came up with a disastrous proposal. And I want you all to know what this proposal would do. Now, they're in the process because millions of people are telling them that what they're proposing is horrific. It's unacceptable. They're about to make some changes. My guess is that their changes that the leadership in the Republican Party will make will not go anywhere near far enough. But the original plan, remember, we have 28 million uninsured. Their health care reform is to throw 24 million more Americans off of health insurance. Throw 24 million people off of health insurance. And then what they want to do is they want to significantly raise premiums, healthcare costs for lower income seniors, the people who are hit the hardest, who need health care the most. According to the AARP, a senior who is 64 years of age today, who's paying $1,700 for her health insurance, will have to pay $13,000 for their health insurance, and that person's making $26,000 a year. So $26,000, you're going to be paying half of your income for health insurance, and the truth is people can't do that, and they will drop their health insurance. You'll be 60 years of age, 64 years of age, not have any health insurance. And then these people, because of their right-wing ideology, they want to defund Planned Parenthood and throw 2.5 million, many of whom are low-income women, off of the health care plan they have chosen. So these guys in Washington know about choice. They love choice. They want to give everybody a choice. But 2.5 million women in this country have chosen Planned Parenthood as their choice as to where they get their health care, and they're going to defund Planned Parenthood next year. Because Planned Parenthood has the decency and the intelligence to say that it should be a woman who controls her body and not the government. And then obviously, because when you are a bully and you have big money behind you, the easiest people to go after are the poor. So they are proposing in this health care, I hesitate to call it a health care plan because it's an anti-health care plan. They're going to make massive cuts to Medicaid, which will mean low-income kids and their parents will lose health insurance or see a limitation in the services that they get. And not only that, 2/3 or almost 2/3 of Medicaid money goes toward nursing home care. So you're going to see middle-class people whose parents are now in nursing care paid for by Medicaid having to make decisions about whether they're going to send their kids to college or whether they take care appropriately of their parents. But here is the good news in that plan. For all of you who are millionaires, you will get on average, a $49,000 tax break. For the top 2% over a 10-year period, there will be $275 billion in tax breaks. So what we're doing is throwing children off of health care, raising premiums for the elderly significantly. We're defunding Planned Parenthood. We're throwing 24 million people off of health insurance so that we can give $275 billion in tax breaks to people making $200,000 a year or more. This is an outrage. It is a moral disgrace, and together we have got to defeat this proposal. And then there is President Trump's views about climate change and the environment. All of you know, I know that all of you know, what the president does not know, and that is the debate is over regarding climate change. The overwhelming majority of scientists believe climate change is real. Climate change is caused by human activity and the emission of CO2, and climate change today in our country and throughout the world is already causing massive problems, which will only get worse, significantly worse in terms of rising sea levels, drought, floods, extreme weather disturbances, mass migrations of people who have to find clean water and land in which they can grow their crops. Donald Trump appointed as EPA administrator a man who does not even believe that climate change is caused by human activity. And they are, as we speak, going to be dismantling the EPA and some of the major environmental initiatives. That's the bad news. The good news is, in that regard, is that state after state is moving aggressively toward weatherization and energy efficiency, toward moving to wind, solar, geothermal, and other sustainable energies that even corporate America knows what Trump doesn't. And 2/3 of the investments now in energy are not going into coal, they're not going into oil, they're not going into gas, they're going into wind, solar, and other sustainable energies. And as much as I disagree with Trump's attack on the needs of the working people of this country and the elderly and the children, the sick and the poor, there is another part of his agenda which is even uglier. And that is, they are making his administration, with people like Steve Bannon and others, are making a very, very intentional decision to try to divide us up, to try to obfuscate where the real problems are facing this country and try to get one group of people to hate another group of people. Whether it was Trump's attacks on Obama in the so-called birther movement, trying to delegitimize the first African-American president we have ever had, whether it is his constant attacks on the Muslim community, whether it is his attacks on undocumented people in this country, what he is trying to do is bring one group against another group. And that is what demagogues always do. They scapegoat. They try to get the people to move away, to not see the real issues facing this country: the collapse of the middle class, income and wealth inequality, climate change, the fact that we're the only major nation without health care, the fact that kids can't afford to go to college or are leaving school deeply in debt. Those are issues we're not supposed to focus on. What we're supposed to be focusing on is hating somebody because they come from a different country or they have a different religion than we do. And our job, and there's nothing more important than this, is to stand together to defend the undocumented, to defend the Muslim community. To defend women and their rights to control their own body. And I will tell you that having gone all over this country, what I learned is that on issue after issue, the American people support a progressive agenda. I'm not going to tell you every community is as progressive as Brattleboro, but on issues like raising the minimum wage to a living wage, on issues like pay equity for women, on issues like creating millions of jobs, rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure, on issues like transforming our energy system and investing in wind and solar, on issues like making public colleges and universities tuition-free, on issues like demanding that the wealthy and large corporations start paying their fair share of taxes. Those are not left-wing issues. On every single one of those issues, the American people are in support. And it is simply the weakness of the Democratic Party, the weakness of grassroots efforts, that we have allowed people like Trump and Paul Ryan to become leaders in this country. So having traveled all over this country, what I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart is that the views that you hold, they're not fringe views. You're not brave and courageous people taking on the world. They are the majority views of the American people. The views of Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell and those guys that want to give tax breaks to billionaires and cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, those are the fringe views that the overwhelming majority of the American people despise and disagree with. So our job in this difficult moment is to remember our history, remember the struggles of the civil rights movement, remember the struggles of the women's movement. 100 years ago today, women did not have the right to vote, get the jobs they wanted, or the education they wanted. Remember the struggles of the gay community to stand up and fight for justice. Remember the struggles of the workers' movement who fought that workers have dignity on the job. So this is not a time for despair. It's not a time for people moaning and groaning about how burnt out they are because they were in a demonstration 3 weeks ago. Now is a time for us to be as smart and creative as we can be. The vast majority of the people are on our side. The billionaire class and the corporate media are not. But we can win this thing if we are gutsy, if we are smart, if we are prepared to engage in political struggle in a way that we have never done before. And when we talk about smart ideas and areas that we have to pay attention to, that is exactly what Windham Grows is all about. That's what Ollie and the others who are up here have been working on. Very simply, we understand that we want good quality food to be going into our kitchens. That's what we want our kids to be eating. We understand that from a climate change perspective, it makes no sense if we can grow food locally and employ people locally. It makes no sense to be shipping food from halfway or the other side of this country. So our job is to add value to the food that comes out of the earth, to make it healthy, to create jobs in agriculture, in our local economy, and that is exactly what Windham Grows is doing. So I want to congratulate all of the people here in the Brattleboro area who have worked on this, and I appreciate the support that has come from the Federal Economic Development Administration and from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and from other federal groups, all of whom have come together to support this project. So thank you all very much, and thank you.
Senator Sanders. Wait, Linda.
We've put together a basket of all, all of our Southern Vermont goods. So there's coffee and beer and chocolate and fibers, all kinds of fun things. Thank you.
What I'd like to do right now is introduce you to some of the funders who'd like to say a few things. The first funder that is a key funder is EDA, which is the Economic Development Office in Philadelphia that has helped us a great deal get this off the ground. And we really couldn't have done it without them. They gave us $150,000, excuse me, $160,000, whoops. And they said you have to match this up with another, at least $150,000. Oh my goodness, we've never done anything like this. So I couldn't have done this without this one man sitting on stage named Martin Langeveld. Martin, I know I'm not supposed to do this, but I want you to stand up. And as you well know, Martin retired this year. He used to be the publisher and the reformer, and he was supposed to retire, and I said, no, you have to come and work for the Strolling of the Heifers. So he's trying to retire again, except that he is elevated to volunteer extraordinaire and is helping us with many, many other things. And I just want to thank Martin so much. So there's some funders. Let's all give Martin a hand. So USDA gave us $30,000, and to represent USDA is our own Brattleboro interim USDA coordinator, John Michael Muse, or some of you know him as Max Muse.
Thank you, Orly. My God, I think the toughest act I'll ever have to follow is Senator Sanders to be able to come up and speak today. I should say, what an excellent person and individual that we are lucky to have in the state of Vermont. I wouldn't say Orly's aggressive. I think she's passionate. Her drive and tenacity has just, I've been with her for a very long time on our endeavors and continue to encourage her, and as I told her backstage, we'll never ever stop that. So thank you. Yes, I'm the acting state director for Vermont and New Hampshire. Really proud to be able to serve in this role. USDA Rural Development is a very, very special place, and I'll get to that overview in a little bit, but I just want to say that today when I was thinking about this event, it's all about confluence. It's all about coming together, and it's about partnerships to support entrepreneurship, to grow jobs, and to make our economy, Vermont, Brattleboro, a better place. It's a partnership between federal agencies, and I got to tell you, anybody that's applied, Martin, you can attest to this, you know, it's not for spectators. Some of these navigations of these programs are very difficult, and you've been very successful, Orly, and I congratulate you on that. And then the state resources with the working lands, and then the local resources with the WikiDip funds that came from the Vermont Yankee closure. And then the private resources that come to this are so important. So I want to thank the Senator's office for funding agencies like ourselves so that we can provide these services like EDA and rural development. I want to thank the state partners. I want to thank Orly for your passion to do this. But most of all, I want to thank the entrepreneurs, because without you, this money does nothing. So you are the key to the success for these programs. So, you know, I have to explain USDA rural development. When you hear USDA, you think of meat inspection. We could not be further from that type of activity. USDA rural development is the economic arm of the department. We have over 40 different programs that we administer in Vermont and New Hampshire is my jurisdiction, that meets our mission. Our mission is to increase economic opportunity and improve the quality of life of rural America, plain and simple. And we do that by investments in funding. So when I was talking with Orly, she says, talk about entrepreneurs. And I said, you know, everything we do is probably about entrepreneurs if you think about it. And some of the program areas that we provide assistance on is housing. A lot of employers need to have good employees, and they actually need a place to live. So rural development has programs to be able to help that. We were able to home 36 first-time home buyers in Windham County last year. Really proud of that. And it's not even about the home, it's about hope, giving them a place to be able to call home. Across the state of Vermont, our products are 6% of every home, 6% of home sales across the whole state of Vermont. Communities, we have community programs that we deliver. Another supporting project that we did was the local farmers market in West Brattleboro, helping them purchase their land and be able to keep that open to all the entrepreneurs that are providing services. Does everybody feel comfortable in their seats right now? Because USDA Rural Development was able to help out the Latchis Theatre with replacing these seats. And then the other arm of the department, our rural development, is our business programs investments. How many have gone to the Brattleboro Food Co-op? We were able to work with the commercial lender and be able to guarantee a loan to be able to make that project come to fruition. Very proud of the work we do there. Food Connects, another entrepreneurial supported organization. We're able to assist them with them be able to purchase a vehicle to pick up products from our local farmers and get them around. And then why we're here today, the Strolling of the Heifers. Orly, I gotta say, you haven't hit the trifecta with us for housing yet, but you've accessed our community facilities and our business programs to be able to do that. And the specific program that we're here today to announce, the $30,000 grant, which we can't go it alone, as we've heard today, we've got to partner with people, is under our Rural Business Development Grant Program. I got to give credit to Susie Poland, who's our staff person that worked on that application and helped Orly and the gang be able to get through that. But the Rural Business Development Grant Program is designed to assist small and emerging businesses, either through technical assistance or with equipment needs. And what Orly has developed here and done is a perfect match for what our funds do. It's here to be able to give the seed money, if you will, to help entrepreneurs grow their businesses and create good jobs for our local communities. So with that, I'd like to just say congratulations, Orly. Congratulations to the entrepreneurs. You are the future of our communities, and we look forward to continuing to help you in whatever way we can. Thank you.
One thing you don't know about Max is that when I first started Strolling Heifers, I walked into USDA and I said, how can you guys help me? He says, well, we don't do parades. So he said, what kind of help do you need? Well, I said, I need these things copied and I need them hung all over town. And guess who did it? Max. He used to. So right now, I'd like to introduce to you our own Katie Buckley, who's from Guilford. And Katie was appointed recently as the Commissioner of Housing and Community Development, and she's going to represent Windham County Economic Development Program, where Strolling of the Heifers received $90,000, which is the Vermont Yankee settlement money. Katie?
Thank you. Thanks, Orly. I find it really hard to believe that I've been in this area for over a decade, more actively since 2008, and somehow I never Oh, I can tell that's veranda back there. And I somehow never crossed paths with Orly before. So one of the things that I really loved when I first met her is she's power-packed full of energy. And I can relate to that. She's similar to me in size and volume and enthusiasm. So I felt like I had a natural partner right out of the gate. As she said, I'm the Commissioner for Housing and Community Development, which doesn't touch this world necessarily that closely, but I work for the Agency of Commerce and Community Development, so I'm representing the Department of Economic Development today, who administered the WikiDip funding, which is the Windham County Economic Development Program funding, as Orly said. And I'm having a flashback to my 5th grade play. I'm not really a big public speaker, so I'm going to read more than speak, if that's okay. Because my knees are knocking, especially with Senator Sanders right behind me. So, and I just want to tag on to your list of things to think about is housing, which is really important, and we want to make sure it remains funded. So I just want to give my 2 cents there. I can't tell you how glad I am to be in Brattleboro today. I spend a lot of time in Montpelier, so to be right here, home, next to Guilford in my hometown, and being able to speak to local people is a wonderful thing. Being able to represent our agency to award a local program, I was thrilled to be here and represent. I'm going to right now. What an excellent use for WikiDip funding. The Windham Grows Business Hatchery is a unique approach to economic development in the farm and food sector that is not currently being carried out in Windham County in any other way. Its mission is this: in collaboration with the state and regional partners, to build food and agriculture business sector in Windham County by connecting startup and early stage businesses with critical services, resources, and financing. Windham Grows recognizes that in order to enhance the success rate of startups, new enterprises need to be linked with appropriate resources and partners that can nurture companies with the capacity to grow. Further, it realizes that early stage businesses dedicated to upscaling their enterprises need access to subject matter experts, resources, and financing tools customized to meet their needs. In addition to these traditional business resources, farm and food startups require special expertise in crops, food storage, food preparation, production, equipment, packaging distribution, labeling, and legal requirements. Windham Grows meets the needs and more through their entrepreneur in residence who are available to mentor and support businesses, taking them where they currently are to where they aspire to be. This program will provide young entrepreneurs, and maybe some older ones too, with the resources they need to gain high-value management skills and enable them to build new, dynamic businesses. This translates into that which is needed most in this region and all around Vermont: the creation of meaningful jobs, increased wages, and strong, sustainable enterprises. The lack of entrepreneur and innovation ecosystem is identified as a capacity gap in the Southeastern Vermont Comprehensive Economic Development Strategies, the CEDS. In all of the strong momentum gained through the development of the CEDS, it's exciting to see Windham Grows emerge to help directly access closing this gap. Strolling of the Heifers offers a solid foundation on which Windham Grows can sit. Its proven track record, expertise in the farm and food sector, and the ability to create jobs supports the objectives of the CEDS and uniquely positions Windham Grows to foster the growth in this sector throughout Windham County. With the strong impact and marketing support of Strolling of the Heifers, Windham Grows will nurture 10 to 12 new or growing businesses such as these each year. By creating individualized business support plans and resources for these businesses, Windham Grows provides the environment, expertise, and skills needed for entrepreneurs to grow dynamic enterprises, create meaningful jobs, and increase wages while leveraging Windham County's greatest asset, its land. We at the Agency of Commerce and Community Development are thrilled to be part of the funding team to support Windham Grows in its efforts to strengthen the economy of southeastern Vermont. We look forward to you creating a rural hub that acts as a model to be replicated in other areas throughout the state. We wish you and businesses you will mentor in the months ahead the very best of luck. We look forward to you being part of the solution in growing the economy in Vermont. Thank you.
So it gives me great pleasure at this point to introduce you to Anson Tebbetts, our new Vermont Secretary of Agriculture, Food and Market. Prior to that, Anson was the director of WCAX, and before that, he was the Deputy Secretary of Agriculture under our own Roger Albee. So it is of great pleasure to introduce you to Anson Tebbetts.
Thank you, Orly, and you always put on a wonderful event. Thank you so much. It'll be June before we know it, and the heifers will be out on the streets, and the grass will be green, and we'll get there. Thank you for all being here. This is just incredible. It's awesome. Senator Sanders, thank you for your leadership in agriculture. It's not just today, it's been for a very long time. I grew up on a small farm in Cabot, and my parents used to attend his rallies. And they used to, and I was in the media, so he would always kind of rib me like, "Saw your parents, Anson." And of course, the old joke is, I used to work for WCAX, and they used to call it WGOP back then. But that's all history. It's all history. But Senator, thank you. I know you'll take care of us down in Washington. Thank you. I want to thank all our entrepreneurs. You take risks. You work hard. Some days it's going okay. Other days it's not. You put yourself out there. Starts, stops. Just awesome. And thank you for helping to grow our economy. That is the goal. Your goal is to make this place a better place for all of us. And without your leadership, that can't happen. So thank you so much. And we want to thank you. We can see in Windham County how you care about agriculture. You can see it in your downtown if you walk around. You're buying local. You're doing everything you can. You can see it in your hills. You can see it in your valleys. You're really working hard to make this place and Vermont as a whole a better place. We are committed in Montpelier, the governor and his team, Commissioner Buckley. We're all committed to working on our rural economy. It's one of our charges, one of our things we're working on. I know the House and the Senate leadership is committed to that as well. So we're going to continue to work on that throughout this session and throughout the next few years. Again, thank you for this opportunity to be here. We're behind you. Keep on us. Make us stay on task. Orly, congratulations.
So right now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the director of Windham Grows, he's also one of the entrepreneur in residence. Now, behind every successful program, every good program, there are people behind it who make it what it is. And truly, Jim Verzino is the person. Jim has been a founder of 3 socially conscious businesses and consulted to many entrepreneurial businesses. And we're so lucky that he chose to move to Brattleboro from a whirlwind of very successful previous business life. Jim Verzino.
Thanks. So there's strange things that happens when you're an entrepreneur. You are constantly living in this combination of feelings of fear on one side, massive fear, and optimism on the other. The optimism because if the thing that you're trying works, it's going to be amazing. You're going to be doing good for the world. You're going to be providing jobs in your community. You're going to be able to have the great house that you want. You're going to be able to have the work that you love to do. And yet, at the very same time, when you're pursuing that, you're constantly in this state of fear because you're chasing this dream and you're putting all your money into it and you're putting all your emotions into it and all your energy into it. And if it doesn't work, you're losing your money, you're potentially in debt for years. You risk relationships because you've spent your time on your business and you've potentially lost some friends or ignored some other things. So you're constantly working in this, and it's a very lonely place to be. And they don't tell you that kind of when you read entrepreneurship stories of Steve Jobs or anybody else. The other thing they don't tell you when you read entrepreneurship stories is that there's no map. When these people, our people in the front row, by the way, are our entrepreneurs here. When these people, we love them. When these people go down this road, there is no map, right? There's this terrain. They've got the vision, they've got the view, but they don't know how to get there. None of us know how to get there, and that's part of the challenge of it. So you've got this terrain, and you're not quite sure where to go, but there's lots of twists and turns. 90% of the turns you want to avoid. But once in a while, there are the turns that you need to make. So even if you make the correct turns, which you're going to do some of the time, if they're the turns down terrain that you're good at, if I'm a designer, when I go down design road, I'm going to be good at that one. But sometimes I've got to go down accounting street, engineering street, manufacturing, engineering boulevard. A lot of us are not good at those things. Or maybe we're good at accounting, but we're not good at design. Whatever they are. Most of us are good at 1 or 2 or maybe 3 of those things if we're really lucky, but we're not good at the 8 or 9 that we have to know how to do. So even if we're going down these roads with our vision in mind, there's a good chance we're going to fall off the cliff on that terrain. And finally, going down this path or going through this map is lonely, and we usually feel lost. Even if we don't know if we're going down the right direction. We can't know if we're going in the right direction. When we're in it, we're in the woods. We don't know if we're going to make it yet. So it's extremely lonely. And that's where Windham Grows comes in. First, we provide the mentorship at the high level, to look at that terrain, to look at that map with you, and say, yes, turn down these roads, skip those ones. Next, we provide co-pilots, or expertise, if you will, so that if I'm good down Design Road, you're probably okay there, you don't need us. But if I'm not good down Accounting Drive, we're going to give you an accountant who's going to co-pilot with you down the accounting side. If you're not good at engineering, we're going to give you an engineer who's going to drive down Engineering Road with you, so that you don't fall off the cliff and into poverty. And most importantly, we provide community. We provide a cohort group. I remember the first time this group got together, it was the first time we were doing Windham Grows. We had been working for 1.5 years to get it started, going down a map that we didn't know how to go down, by the way. But we got there, at least to the beginning, to step 1, and we got this group together. In the first 30 minutes, the way they were clicking was unbelievable. So the third thing that we provide at Windham Grows is the community, because there's nothing like coming together with a bunch of other people that can go through it with you. And that is the gas. That's the gas that gets people through, the community of them working together. And by the way, speaking of the community, you will notice we have almost solely women-owned business here. So let's hear it for women-owned businesses in Southern Vermont. We were going to dress David up in drag just to get our numbers up. But he could pull it off, for sure. And by the way, of these great businesses, program's been going on for 6 months. Already 7 new jobs have come out of these businesses. So let's hear it for them. Can you hear me? Okay. Now, there is one more person that was unfortunately unable to make it today. We have another entrepreneur in residence, Karn Cross. And Karn wasn't able to be with us today, unfortunately. He's not with us. Another scheduling thing came up and he was unable to be with us, but Karn is unbelievable. Long before anybody was talking about entrepreneurship, 15 years ago, Karn started Fresh Tracks Capital with its only mission to start and grow businesses in Vermont. Karn's been mentoring and financing businesses up north near Burlington for years. But he saw what we're doing down here. He saw the potential of what we're doing down here, and he saw the people of our community. So he spends his time driving down here a few times a month, 4 hours, 5 hours round trip, just to help our entrepreneurs here, and he's been a great mentor to me and a great mentor to our people. Now, Karn did have a little bit of something he wanted me to read to you, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So this is, imagine me as Karn. We don't have his picture, but imagine I'm taller and better looking, which isn't hard. The Vermont startup ecosystem has developed rapidly during the past 15 years. Here is some evidence. 15 years ago, there was one pitch event in Vermont called the Vermont Investors Forum, and it was held once per year. Today, there are several pitch events. Peak Pitch, Launch VT, Road Pitch, stopping in 10 towns, including Brattleboro, a collegiate pitch competition, high school entrepreneur pitch competitions, and more. Almost every Vermont town of any size has pitch competition. 15 years ago, Vermont entrepreneurs had few choices for capital. There were banks, local credit corporation lenders, and Vita. Today, we still have banks, local credit corporation lenders, and Vita, but there is also an active angel group, North Country Angels, a venture firm, Fresh Tracks Capital, a seed capital fund, Vermont Seed Capital Fund, a royalty finance company, Flexible Capital Fund. And thanks to new federal and state crowdfunding laws and regulations, the Jobs Act and the VSBOE respectively, Vermont entrepreneurs can raise money directly from the general public by using crowdfunding platforms such as Vermont's own crowdfunding platform, Milk Money. 15 years ago, the concept of co-working centers, where solo entrepreneurs could work side by side with professionals and small startup companies, was essentially non-existent. Today, virtually every town of any size in Vermont, Bennington, Brattleboro, Rutland, Burlington, Virgins, Montpelier, etc., has co-working locations where creative people collide and the magic happens. Most importantly, the notion of business acceleration programs was unheard of 15 years ago. Today, we have one actual business accelerator, Windham Grows, up and running with a terrific first cohort of companies. Windham Grows is the first true accelerator in Vermont, and the first of what we hope will be many accelerators located throughout the state. Thank you, Karn, for your kind words. And now, let's meet our historic class.
I thought y'all were clapping for me. No. But I own the Restless Rooster and Green Mountain Cheesecake. We opened up 2 years ago downtown Brattleboro, and we have 16 employees. We moved up from Florida to be part of this great Vermont community, and we really, really are happy that we did. And Jim and Orly have been awesome in helping us.
Hey there, I'm David Heiler from Whetstone Station Restaurant and Brewery in Brattleboro, and thank you, and Campfires Campground in Dummerston. And we're really, really proud and honored to be part of the inaugural session of Windham Grows. Windham Grows gives us a tremendous amount of support and consulting and the resources to help make us keep making experimental craft beers and inspired pub food using local and sustainable products whenever we can. So thanks very much.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Shimon, and I'm the most nervous, so I have a script. I'm from Baptist Fibers and Wonderland Yarns, which started as a box of yarn under my dining room table, and it has now grown to a group of 13 creatives producing pretty yarn that we ship all over the world. And we're really happy to be working with Windham Grows so we can learn the business side of things. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Trish Thomas, and I'm here with my husband, Chris Thomas, who's my partner with Good Body Products. We make 100% organic body care products, and we use botanicals and ingredients from local farmers, and we're thrilled to be here today. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dara Tavernier-Singer, and my husband John and I own Tavernier Chocolates. Thank you. We're a small local confectionery. We use a lot of local ingredients in our products. Our goal is to grow and to hire people who are as passionate about local products as we are to come and learn our craft and join us and bring their creativity to the table.
Hi, I'm Ingrid Crisco, here with my husband Franklin, taking a picture at the moment. We are educators first, and for more than 4 decades each, we serve children, parents, families of Windham County. And now we're doing something else that we love. We are the owners of True North Granola. We started our business with the crazy idea that we could make a better granola, but if you live in Vermont, who doesn't believe they can't make a better granola? It's been a great privilege and honor for me to be a part of Windham Grows this year. I've learned a ton, and it's been inspiring, and I really appreciated everything Jim said about how it can feel very lonely at times, and then something happens and it gives you the boost and the energy you need to keep moving forward. But this team of people here have been terrific for me to work with. And I'm sorry Bernie had to leave. I know he's in Springfield tonight, but I wanted to make sure he doesn't let Congress cut the federal budget for public education. Thank you.
I'm Connie Fasiliotis, and I'm the owner of Sweet Basil Food Company. And we're located in Townsend, and we manufacture and sell a line of all-natural, Greek-inspired frozen entrees that are based on the Mediterranean diet. And you can find our products in food co-ops and independent grocers all over New England. So I'm very proud of that. Thank you.
Well, thank you all. This group here is our first cohort, and in 3 months, we'll be starting our next cohort. So if you know anyone with a small existing business that supports farm, we'd like to hear from them. We also have a website, windhamgrows.org, and there is a registration on that, or call us or drop at the River Garden. I would like to introduce you to our new general manager. I can't begin to tell you how lucky Strolling of the Heifers is. So I would like to introduce you to Ann Latchis, who grew up in this theater.
Thank you, Orly. Glasses go on because I need to read too. So first I want to thank Latchis Arts for hosting today's kickoff of Windham Grows. You know, I can't think of a better place to announce this program than here at the Latchis Theatre, built by my own family of entrepreneurs. I don't think that was a word used then. I think they were called immigrants, maybe? My great-grandfather arrived in 1901 from Greece with $10 in his pocket. He made his way to Brattleboro and began the family enterprise by peddling fruit from a hand-pulled cart. So it's only fitting to be here today to welcome entrepreneur growth in our community. When most people hear the word Strolling of the Heifers, they think of a parade in June when cows march up Main Street. Over 10,000 people come to Brattleboro to enjoy our little town. What you might not know is that programs like a brown bag lunch series at the River Garden, our farm-to-table culinary apprenticeship program, Windham Grows, the Slow Living Summit, and other programs that strengthen the local farm and food economy are only possible because of what happens here on that first weekend in June each year. So please know you are all invited to join us for the parade and festivals that puts Brattleboro on the map. Yes, lovely heifers stroll up our Main Street, and most years, Bernie does too. So please mark your calendars. The weekend kicks off on a more serious side on Thursday, June 1st, with our Entrepreneur to Table Summit, and a lively street festival follows on Friday evening during Gallery Walk. Then the parade on Saturday is followed by Slow Living Expo, where a few hundred exhibitors, vendors, farmers, and local nonprofit groups, plus a smattering of chickens and llamas maybe, will be found at the Common in the Retreat Grounds for an afternoon of family fun. On Sunday, we start off with farmers' breakfast at the marina. This is a really long weekend, so I hope you all can join us for most of it anyway. There are farm tours and our very own tour de Heifer for cyclists of all levels. So in case you're hankering to help, we welcome volunteers, so please get in touch with me. So in closing, I want to thank the individuals and businesses of Brattleboro and far beyond for supporting the Strolling of the Heifers for the past 16 years. And now you all know it's so much more than a parade. Thank you.